actually coming in, I actually bought something. I had the gall. Imagine that, the gall to actually go down to Home Depot and actually buy something. Uh, I was actually looking at some other tools, just in general, just to look around, see what was there. And I actually ran across a ratcheting tool from Ryobi. Now, I do have manual ratchets, which are perfectly fine for very small stuff, like for little odds and ends that, you don't need high torque and all that. But I was also looking at some where uh, that was a little bit automated per se, that instead of trying to look for a half inch, 3/8 or quarter inch spindles that you put out the sockets on, I actually found one a ratchet tool from Ryobi. This one here is PCL280, which is the model number of this one. This is a three. This one here specifically has the half-inch socket, for the half-inch sockets themselves. It also comes with a attachment here, which you can actually separate, which has 3/8 on one side, which is this one here, and then on the other side, it has the quarter inch. So if you have some socket sets uh, that have the quarter inch, 3/8, or the half inch, then you can use this particular tool with those sockets. Now, from what I was reading up in here, this is not a impact. It's nothing similar to like the impact wrench that has the 3/8 size, or the half-inch impact wrench, which are completely different. Those ones, the 3/8 and the half-inch impacting wrenches, are basically for tires. Okay, this one here, you probably could tie down the tire itself, like the bolts, but it doesn't give that little kick in for tightening it as what you would have on an impact wrench itself. Usually, the impact wrenches themselves range from anywhere between 160 foot-pounds of torque up to well over 1170. Okay, on the Ryobi side, because I know I have a P261, which is up to 300. The 3/8 version that I have is up to 160 foot-pounds, which is just about half of what my P261 is. But that's using a 3/8 anvil, which is what this one has. It has the 3/8 anvil, quarter-inch anvil, and a half-inch anvil. Okay, and I got this just because, for the simple fact, is that I remember way back, and I'm talking about, oh, maybe 20 years ago, 30, oh, 20 to 30, oh, yeah, I would say about easily when I was like maybe 17, 18 years old, and I was doing a repair on my father's AMC, 1979 AMC Concorde, and I remember that car very well. I loved that car, perfectly fine. Nice little inline six. We did what they call as a rollover on the odometer, so we actually got over 100,000 miles on it. Loved that car, but the problem is that up here in Canada, my father put that car into the garage, and of course, during the winter times, especially when they threw the salt and sand down for the highways and all that, well, guess what? You bring that car into the garage, into a warm area, and you have all this packed snow on the inside of the wheel wells, and of course, with all that salt, with the compact snow, it ate away basically the fenders. So basically, the car was almost like acting like an airplane with that. So And with that one there, we also had to change out the what they call as the water pump. So I've learned to actually I learned how to take one out, take the old one out, put the new one back in, all on my own, and of course properly draining it. So that's why I remember using the socket sets way back then. Now I still do have a set of socket sets here, two types with screwdrivers and the what you call it, the nubby wrench for it. So I do have that, and I do have the proper impact wrenches of the 3/8 and 1.5 inch. But I wanted to get this one here specifically for if you're working in tight spaces. As an example, like even if it's in the cargo bay, and you have to uh, tighten certain things or untighten certain things or whatever else, or even doing other things that's outside of the car, and you just needed something really light and simple. Something like this will actually do. Of course, with the different anvils and the sizes that you need, I have more than enough of that. One thing I liked about this here, I was just reading through the manual, is that the head itself, uh, where we have the collet here, if you push it up, you can swing the anvil 90 degrees. So you can do it, and you have basically four positions. This is one of them, which is 90 degrees. And then if you do it again, you have it like the original factory default, where you have the battery down here, and then you have your flap here, these for the switch. And then you can also do it the other way too, to ease the battery portion uh, away from the area that you're working in, so that way you can actually work on the part. Other thing I liked about this, uh, as well, is that yeah, you do have the switch for switching the which way it's going to turn, like clockwise or counterclockwise, as an example. I liked about that, but the thing is with this here, when I had purchased it yesterday, and you know how it is, you're trying to fool around just to take a look at things, and when I came to this part here, to switch the direction on it, I found it very hard by hand, but because I think it's also is still very cold to the touch, and the grease that was inside there was too stiff. So where the grease may have touched it on the back side of the switch here, for the different rotation, made it harder. So I was able to finagle it with the vice grip that we have, and I'm talking a vice grip, not I'm talking about a vice itself that you have on a workbench. I was able just to get the where you have your finger, where you can actually hold down the switch here in the back, put it between the two sections of the vise without damaging it, without you know breaking or marring the paint job on it, and just ever so slightly turn it either way just to see where it's located at, and then have it actually move. Once that was done, everything started to work fine after that. So it was not much of a problem after that. It's still a little stiff, but that's because it's brand spanking new and it hasn't been worn in yet. But it should be good enough for basic light duty work. Especially when you're assembling stuff together. The speed of the anvil itself is 260 revolutions per minute. So it's not the fastest, and I'm not expecting it to be the fastest when dealing with sockets and all that. But that's totally fine. I mean, it's not a speed race to get things done. It's not like you're doing a tire, like on a car, where you require sometimes, uh, you know, 90 to 150 pounds worth of torque, depending on the tire itself and the rim. So they always say spec it to what the car needs for tightening and untightening. So At least with that there, with 35 pounds for the torque with this, should be more than enough for any little project where you're assembling stuff big enough that requires something like this. If it's something really small, I don't suggest using something like this, like for very small handheld projects, things like that. Something like that, that would be overboard. With this here as well, I noticed as well, with the half-inch anvil, they actually bored in a hex hole on here, so you can actually use it as a screwdriver too, electric screwdriver, at 260 revolutions per minute. So you can actually use your impact rated drill bits with it. So that is very handy regarding to something like that. So instead of trying to get your other impact driver related things there, you simply have the half-inch anvil with the extension on it, and just use that to tighten the actual screws themselves. So that's a bonus in regards to that. But yet again, you're not looking for speed with this. It's as good as it is for just general tightening stuff, putting things together. You're not. I don't expect this. I don't expect to be a speed using this because it was never meant for that. It was meant to within reason, of course, and only with 35 foot-pounds of torque. The impact drivers themselves are not that powerful, so I would say it's about the same, 35, 40 pounds for the torque on those. But they use impact rate in inches instead of in foot-pounds. So again, it's not a big deal for me. But at least I have both of them now, and this actually ties in because now I have a half-inch, 3/8, quarter-inch, half-inch with this as a ratchet set. And not only that, I do have my 3/8 brushless version, and also my half-inch brush version. So this here, this is what I would usually use for my tires. That one or this one here, depending with which size socket I need to remove the tires. And this black socket here is actually impact rated for, so I know I'll be good regarding that. No, I'm just wondering here. I'm just going to check something out here while you see me putzing around here on it. Might as well. Let's get the other one in. Let's get the other one out. And that one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. You see, you get to learn some stuff. I learn everything as I go along too. So don't worry. We're all in the same boat. So don't feel shy. We all learn by our mistakes. There we go. Da-da-da. Yeah. Now that works. And with this here, you can use any lithium battery from Ryobi, whether they're the regular ones, high performance, or the Edge. The only difference that you'll notice is with the brushless versions. This one here is not brushless, but I do have a brushless right angle drill, and a couple other ones that are brushless as well. I just don't remember offhand. But with those, you'll notice that it'll communicate with the tool itself to give it so it won't bog down as much. So that's a bonus point when you have it with a brushless tool with the high performance or with the Edge. Okay, so that's just to let you know. I do have high performance batteries in behind me here, so I have like maybe six 4 amp hours, four high capacity ones, and six regular ones. The only ones I have in higher amperage or amp hours is a 6 two 6 amp hours and two 9 amp hours, and they should all work on this. Now, going with a regular 4 amp hour battery on this, it's maybe a little bit overkill because of the weight, but you can still use it just the same, just to be able to power the socket itself. So, and here just to power it up. And it sounds a little bit noisy, but it'll do the job. Now switch it the other way. Here we go. It's a little loud, but that's okay. That's to be expected because I'm not expecting it to be silent, so it's a good thing. Anyhow, with that, that's about it. Uh, these things, I will eventually start using them more often. It's just for right now, for the time being, is finding projects that I can actually use them with, and that's usually the problem itself. Sometimes it's nice to have these things, but you have to have the project for them. Otherwise, you're just kind of saving up for nothing. But I want to start doing some tooling, some projects that I can be proud of making on my own. And this is going to be one of them. Besides picking up the tools, I'm going to start using them too, and that's half the fun. And I wish the cars were made like they used to be. It was a lot more fun learning off of those than to bring it into shop and letting them diagnose the living snot out of them with the computers these days. But I come from that point, being a Gen Xer myself, where we tend to we tend to learn as we go, or get our expertise in learning things like computers and all that, and be able to help our parents or people who are millennials uh, transition through. So this happens to be one of those things where I want to do something that's like what my father did, or things of that nature. Anyhow, with that being said, I do like this. I do like this Ratchet set. I think I'll enjoy it once I can start doing projects with it. So I'll be happy then. But until then, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.